What's up, everyone? This time I'm going to be doing a deck profile of my Adamancipator deck. So let's get right to it. First off, I run 3 Adamancipator Seekers, 3 Adamancipator Analyzer, and 3 of the Researcher, which I do not have because it's $50. Now the tuners are really good in this deck. Essentially each of them have basically the same effect. So you can activate the top 5 cards and special 1 level 4 or lower rock non-tuner monster. So basically anything aside from themselves. And they actually have the ability to special summon themselves to the field as well, so they're really consistent. Next I run 3 Dragites, 2 Raptites, and 2 Leonites. Essentially this and any of the tuners is going to get you a free level 6 synchro. Not to mention, if these are special summoned off of the effect of an Adamancipator monster, they gain additional effects. This is draw 1 and these 2. Essentially, place 1 Adamancipator card from your hand or grave on top of the deck. And if this is in the grave, you can target like a fire, wind, or water synchro in your grave and add it back to your deck. So there's a lot of recursion with the synchros in this deck. It's like a standard play is, say you normal summon let's say you normal summon Seeker and activate, I don't know, these 5 for example. Then you can special summon this. I'll let you draw 1. Of course these will go on the bottom. So then you draw 1 and then you can just go into a level 6, which is Leonite. That can be Raptide or any other synchro XYZ. The one thing I like about this deck, it does not restrict you to rock and earth. Like, you can go into any synchro with this. It doesn't have to be a rock synchron or synchro. Next, since I'm excavating, and if I don't excavate a rock, level 4 or lower non-tuner rock monster, that pretty much sucks. So gotta run a lot of rocks. I run 3 of the Maru Guardian. Essentially, you contribute this card to negate the activation of an effect monster and destroy that card. The one downside to Maru Guardian is that during the end phase you have to reveal a rock, or you can reveal some iron core of Maru. But as long as you have a rock monster in hand, this is going to be on. This will stay on your field, and it's another negate. One thing with this deck, there is a lot of negations you can run. Next, I run 2 Doki Doki. Doki Doki for this 6 can essentially fix the broken hands or cards that are dead in your hand. Because the one thing with Adamancipators is, let's say you draw one of these in like your opening hand or something. There isn't really many effects. I don't think there's any that allows you to special summon from hand. So essentially you can use, let's say this, send this to the grave to special summon another Leonite to the field. I also run 1 Gigantes. It's a rock earth. The one downside is that in order to, this can't be normal summoned. They can only special summon by removing from play 1 earth monster. So if it's excavated, you cannot special summon it, sadly. Or maybe you can, I just don't know about it, but it's a rock monster. So it's like the weakest out of all the rock monsters that I run. Next, I run 2 Nibiru. This is a deck where you can use Nibiru other than what it's actually supposed to be used for. Because pretty much you usually use Nibiru for the effect to, after your opponent summons 5 monsters, destroy all of them, give them a token, all that. But with Adamancipators, you can also summon this if you excavate it off of, let's say, Raptite. Because Raptite just says special summon one monster. It doesn't have to be a non-tuner. It doesn't have to be level 4 or lower. Raptite has absolutely no restrictions on the rock it summons. Now the next 3 cards are probably going to be kind of confusing. I run 1 Gorgonic Gargoyle and 2 of the Cerberus. Essentially, when you normal summon a rock monster, you special summon this from grave, and when this card is normal summon, you can make all rock type monsters you control become level 3. Essentially, I just have it made there as like bodies for like when I need to excavate a rock, because you always want to excavate at least 1 rock you can summon. Otherwise, that's going to suck. And I probably would play some other rocks, like maybe some more Quakimeros, but Guardian's the only one I haven't, unfortunately, and I've been wanting to find some way to use these cards, so I just went with this deck, and it works. Now lastly, I run as an extra disruption, I forgot the name of the card, I run the one, I think it's Buster Whelp of the Destruction Sword, something like that. Essentially the equip card for Union Carrier to lock your opponent out of special summoning from the extra deck. I run 2 Laputite. This field spell is actually pretty good. Don't really need 3 of them, because this field spell is essentially you can stack your deck, so when you excavate you can get what you want. So that's really powerful. And the one good thing is this is only a soft once per turn, not a hard once per turn. So let's say I open with 2 of them, I can do it twice. Next, I play 3 Sign. Essentially, target rock monster in grave, special summon and defense, and then if you special summon an Adamancipator monster, by effect, take 1 level 4 lower rock monster from your deck and place it on top of your deck. So, kind of a little bit like the field spell. It can help you stack a bit, and it's also a Monster Reborn in a way. Speaking of Monster Reborn, I run 2 Pot of Avarice, because there'll be times where I can actually build up my graveyard pretty quickly, and then I'll start running out of stuff to excavate, so this can help with that. And lastly, I run 3 traps, and that's Adamancipator Resonance. This is your trap negate, or this is one of your negations. When a monster effect is activated while you control Adamancipator Synchro monster, negate the activation. And the one good thing is this is a counter trap. So your opponent's going to be limited onto what they can respond to it with. Now moving on to the extra deck. First off, I run 2 of the Leonites, which I sadly do not have. And then I run a 2 Raptite. Honestly, I think this is the best out of all the Adamancipator Synchro monsters, because this card is essentially an extender, because this has the same effect as the tuners to excavate and then special summon 1 rock, and this one doesn't have any restrictions. It says special rock. It can be a Nibiru, it can be a tuner, it can be whatever you want it to be. I also run 2 Dragites. Dragite is actually it's actually a pretty good boss synchro monster. Dragite can essentially negate a spell and trap card or effect while a water monster is in your grave. And you can return cards your opponent controls to the hand up to the number of excavated rock monsters. So let's say you excavate 4 rock monsters, you can return 4 of your opponent's cards back to their hand. So that can be really good for clearing boards to go in for the kill. Next, I run a bunch of good synchros. First one is Trishula. Essentially the, I think you probably already know what Trishul is. It's banish one from your opponent's field, hand, and grave. That's pretty good. Out of all the synchros, that's the one I probably go into the least because I'd have to be able to go into a level 9. Next, I run TG Hyper Librarian. Every time monster synchro summon, draw 1 card, so that's some good draw power. Next, I run Clearwing Synchro Dragon. This was actually not that hard to go into. It's instant gate, and of course, the obvious, Borlo Savage Dragon. This card is easy to go into, considering the boss monster of this deck is a level 8, just like this one. So we can reliably get into Borlo Savage Dragon. Now on to the links. 2 of the proxies I have are Crystron Needle Fiber. I'm calling it Needle Fiber. I don't care what its actual name is. I'm calling it Needle Fiber. And Union Carrier. Fortunately, I don't have any of the new cards that came out in Dual Overload because I have not gotten the set because I don't have the money for it. But I play those 2. And next, I play 1 Lamorphicus. You can run IP, any kind of Link 2. I run a Nightmare Phoenix and a Bolster Dragon to help finish the game. And that's it for my Adamancipators. Honestly, I think it's going to be one of the best decks of this format. But we'll just see. I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.